So this is going to be a bit nostalgic. Let's talk about the Bino 75. So yeah. So yeah, this is the Bino. So the one thing I'm going to say before talking about the actual content of the book, which I am going to talk more about in spoilers because I like each segment is its own thing, but I'm not going to go into like separate segments. I'm not going to go to each one of them because actually maybe I am because I kind of like the Beano. But I used to get the Beano on the weekly basis, and I'm like maybe I shouldn't. But I used to, so I only get it rarely now when you get like these. And I went on the airport to go to Jersey. I'm like, perfect time for the Beano. But yeah, let's talk about the fun stuff. So yeah, like I said, the most of this is going to be in the spoiler section. So you get one section with Minnie. Minnie was one of the characters that I remember. Not one of my favorites, however. Um, but it was basically her jumping into video games. It's fun. It's cool. You have Fortnite, Sonic, and Minecraft alliteration, which I think is cool. You have Angela Face of Investigations, which I like. It's a very fun sort of stuff, which I didn't really have in my opinion. I think that was near the end of when I think you had the Bashful Street Kids, which I would say is a lot more than what I remember. And when I had it, it was basically Wolfwood, Salty, Toots, Dandy, Sniffy, Sydney, Fred, Albert, Plug, and then you had Gerbert, but he was more the smart kid of the group. But now you have so many more, which I think is so much better because I like having one more because it feels like a classroom now. Because it always just felt like here's 8 kids, uh, which was my classroom size, but I think I went to special school. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 kids in a classroom, which I think for most people wouldn't make most sense. It also is more diversity, which nowadays I think works better because there was definitely some. You also get one with Nasher and Nipper, which are always fun. Uh, Calamity James, which is basically the unlucky kid, which I do like, but he wasn't one. He was my least favorite. Here's my favorite: Ruby, Screwtop Scientist. I like mostly because what I also watched the TV series, and you had two. You have one where you have him and his two best friends, and you also have one with him. You still have Curly, but you have Ruby, and I don't know who it was. It was this adventurous girl who was like really fun. That's one of them. Danny, the spy, I like because again, it's like kid spy. Banana Man, again, I love. Again, a lot of this I love. You have Dennis the Menace, which I always like because he was the one person I saw over top of time. Again, he is on the cover. Again, it is just so fun. Again, this is more me talking about me talking and what I thought about the character. Betty Yeti, Betty and Vietti, I do like, but compared to some of the other characters, I don't think he's as good. Roger Dodger, I somewhat think is okay, but I think he's just not as good. I think he's just like a person who's dodgy, while I prefer Dennis the Menace, who's more, I think, active. Well, Roger, the whole thing is he's trying to be lazy, which is funny, but it is good, but not as good. Here's one that I haven't seen myself, and it wasn't in the ones that I read, which is Ha Ha Joke Shop. We just have a family of people doing like joke stuff. I think I don't know much about them. I would love to learn so much about them because that sounds like a funny idea. Being like, oh yeah, we sell joke shops. You also have a couple of joke ideas. Oh, I think it was it was Jem Jones, who was the character of Ghost Hunter, which I think is really good. Billy Wiz, he's pretty low on my favorite list because he was good, but he was just a kid who was fast. Then you have another mini one with the bed, and oh no, everyone's going into the past. Then you obviously have back to Danger Dan, and then you get like going into the past for several characters, going into think it's like sort of like a spy thing of like an 80s spy. The superhero goes into the flying plane. I don't remember when it was, but it was during the sort of like Roman Scotland is when Minnie goes. The one thing I love is Roger Vidal goes to uh, Houdini, the escape artist, which I think is good, and uh, Leonardo da Vinci gets Dennis the Menace. Again, this is really fun with the pause. Angela investigates, gets a mystery, and we go to the first time going up to the Antarctic for Betty and the Eddie, which kind of makes sense. The only one I didn't get is Ruby's because I don't know who these people are. And oh yeah, Albert Einstein's for Busy the Wiz. And Jens goes to someone else that I don't know. A couple of these people I don't know historically. You also have Numbskulls, which is interesting. I do like Inside Out better. Again, this is just a lot of me talking about the characters because I like the characters. Uh, Fungus for Calamity James, which I think is a fun idea for like stuff keep going wrong and then it's like, oh, we discovered something. Because like the way that they discovered antibacterials, which I think this is referring to, is interesting. And Robin Hood with the Bashful Kids makes so much sense of that. Oh, a bunch of people just having fun and causing mischief. And also the joke shop going to Charlie Chaplin makes sense because he was one of the people who would make sounds out of odd things. If you know the amount of tricks that they sort of use to make films easier, like there's one thing where he goes backwards in one of the films. I saw this in like a documentary where like, he's not going backwards in the there's a glass perspective thing, which is clever. Uh, Nasher and Nipper go to, I think it's Leica, and then they go back under the bed, and then he's like, "Oh, why did you destroy the bed?" It's like, "Oh, great, blame me, because you didn't see the rest." And then it's back to normal stuff with like regular episodes of like funny stuff, which is really good, and I do like it. But the only time I mentioned the other stuff was because of the time travel, and because this is really good. I also, realistically, I was there when they redesigned, I think, Dennis the Menace's dad, which I thought was a very interesting idea. But yeah, I do like the Bino. I don't read it anymore. I might occasionally, like, if I'm going to a plane trip, I might buy one of theirs, but I don't do it regularly enough that I might want to get a thing. But definitely read the Bino. It is definitely fun worth reading it when I was younger. So you're definitely younger, definitely read it. It's fun. Actually, I definitely recommend reading it because it's fun. It's a bit like sarcastic because it's about like a lot of them are kids who try and get up to like mischievous stuff, which is either like the with the Bash Street kids getting up with like pranks or like Roger the Dodge trying to dodge a task. It's all about just kids being kids. It is fun. It is cheeky, and it is overall amazing. And as you can probably like see in this, they are increasing diversity, which I think is always a good idea. But yeah, I do love this. I absolutely love this series, and yeah, but yeah, predators, killers of killers. That's gonna be fun and also long like today. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. I hope you like this video, and sorry for this being a long video. Also, quick update. I'm just gonna add this to this because I'm gonna do this. I was about to again do this. I'm gonna push it back again. But why am I doing this? Because TikTok's giving me a going through the thing and doing the montage, and I'm like, I found it. I'm gonna do that today. So I'm gonna just do that tomorrow. It's basically just swapping um, that on the 30th for that today. So yeah, you still get on like the 29th, and then maybe something else on the 30th. I also have a couple of clips of like comments I want to talk about, but yeah, good night.